Boxing's Throwdown. My name is Steve Johnson. My co-host Aurelio Martinez. We're going to start off this second segment by finishing up with the undercard from that Deontay Wilder-Romain Stiverne fight last night. I guess you could call it the co-main event if you want to, but of interest was
not so much of an undercard because they were both championship bouts.
Well, they were all three of them, I believe,
That's
were
what I'm
championship
saying.
bouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But the one of interest was the heavyweight bout. But it turned out to be a lot better fight than we thought it was. The fight between Showtime Sean Porter and Adrian Granados.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know one thing about Adrian Granados. He's a tough out. The problem he has is what most boxers around the country have now, is that once everyone finds out what he's about, they really don't want to fight him. And so he stepped up to fight a welterweight.
Yeah, he did.
Adrian Granados is really a light welterweight.
Mm-hmm.
But he stepped up to the welterweight division. He fought Sean Porter and actually gave Sean Porter everything he can handle. He didn't win the fight. He thought he won the fight, and I can't really fault him for that because his comments afterwards were right on point. He said, I pressed the action. I tried to make him fight, but Porter, for all intents and purposes, outclassed him. The first 2 rounds where I actually thought it might be over in 2 or 3 rounds. That's how Sean Porter was handling it. But it really became at some point, in my opinion, Sean Porter's used to being a bully in the ring.
Yeah,
and he found out that he couldn't bully Granados.
Well, he tried and he continued on his quest to be a bully because he never stopped throwing punches. Porter was just scoring too much. Mm-hmm. And you're right. I mean, Granados. He's one of them fighters where people are very careful when they call his name. You can ask Danny Garcia.
Exactly.
I mean, because Danny Garcia won that fight, but that was where people everyone that watched it said that's controversial. A lot of people thought Granados won the fight, and unlike this one, Granados thought he won the fight. Not a lot of people. Okay, but when he fought Danny,
his fans were very. Ardent that day.
He didn't win the fight. But
no, I didn't think he did either.
I mean, but that's nothing to be ashamed of. Like you say, he stepped up, and you can just see that Porter was much bigger in the ring. He was the bigger man, and Granados was fighting outside of his weight class, and it showed. So one has to question, Sean Porter, as much as he was pressing the action and hitting Granados, especially in the early rounds. He couldn't hurt him.
He couldn't hurt him at all.
Couldn't hurt him. Yeah. So now he's got to fight the Thermo again, Keith Thurman. Okay.
I call him that Thermal.
Thermal, man. Thermal Charles.
He's looking at Keith Thurman, and we got questions there because Keith Thurman, after he suffered his injury, I can't remember what was it, shoulder, arm, something that he had, and we don't know what he's going to be like, but I imagine he's got to have a tune-up before he would go with Sean Porter. But last night, what we saw from Sean Porter, nothing spectacular.
Well, let me tell you something. And this is what I don't get about fighters, okay? Sean Porter fought. He fought well. He fought hard. He fought aggressively. He did his darn best to put Granados out because he felt that would be a feather in his cap because no one's been able to do that, okay? And he couldn't.
No.
Okay, so he ended up getting tired. He ended up getting tired, and his activity ended up to drop. So what happens at the end of the fight? He got ice pack on his hand saying, "I broke my hand." Okay, that's just something that I don't understand. Even if it's a legitimate break, which I doubt it. Okay, I don't think anything happened to his hand. I think he just couldn't finish the job that he wanted to finish. Okay,
that's what it looked like to me.
He couldn't finish it, and he couldn't do it. So all of a sudden, here comes the excuse. The reason I didn't knock him out was because I hurt my hand in the 6th round. Okay, or broke it or something like that. But it's going to be interesting. Yeah, because once a boxer makes that claim and makes an excuse like that, then I think that they are obligated to show some X-rays and a doctor's report and a hospital's report and everything else, just to save face. Because right now, there's a lot of people that think like I think, and he wasn't hurt. He just couldn't accomplish his goal in knocking Granados out. It wasn't going to happen.
Well, Adrian Granados was, like I said, if you paid attention to his body language when they read the scorecards, he was ready to raise his hand. As you know,
he legitimately thought he was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt. And he even said it to afterwards. Yeah. He told Porter. He said, "Good fight, but you know I want.
You know I want to fight." Yeah.
So I don't. Like I said, I didn't think he won it. I think he showed well for himself, but I've never seen him not show well for himself. So
No,
I hope good things happen for him. But I can almost guarantee you that Adrian knows it too, man. Without a couple of bad, in his mind, of bad decisions and tough fights that he takes, because he doesn't shy away from them.
No,
he doesn't get the win, so that makes him a tough out for anybody. These other guys don't want to mess with him, so we'll get to see how that comes out.
Well, he needs to come back down to 140, and maybe wasn't the next championship fight that we're going to talk about? Wasn't that held at 140? Because he fought for Crawford's vacant thing,
right?
I mean, that would be an excellent a matchup for Granados to come back down to 140 and fight
Kondo?
Lipinets.
Oh, Lipinets.
Sergey Lipinets, who won, what was it, Kondo?
Kondo. He knocked out Kondo, the Japanese
guy. Yeah. So, but we'll talk about that right now. We want to finish it out. But just to finish my thought is I think that would be a very good fight for Granados, and I think he wins. As a matter of fact, I don't think Sergey Lipinets, I don't think he wanted to fight, first of all. That's me. I don't think he wanted to fight. I think he was given a gift, okay? I saw a lot of chinks in his armor, and I know Granados could take advantage of them. So I think that's something that Team Granados needs to try to press and get that fight.
I would like to see it happen, but I would go as far as to say I would guarantee you they don't want none of that. They don't want none of that. They're not going to mess with Adrian Granados.
Well, that's what
they will.
Granados has to call him out. But let's talk a little bit about that fight, okay?
Well, you thought Kondo won.
I did. Okay. I did. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Sergey came in, and the Russian fighter, he came in, and he kind of was boxing a lot, and he was throwing a lot of fast punches. But his chink in his armor is he cannot hurt his opponent. And I've always said
exactly like the prior fight.
You've got to get respect from your opponent, and he never did that. So he allowed Kondo to get back into this fight from Japan, and
yes.
and I think he came in and came out strong in the second half of the round, and I think he won the entire second half. And I would have given him a couple of fights just because.
You mean a couple of rounds?
A couple of rounds prior to that, because the thing about judges and referees, they always have a way. You talk to Letterman, and he'll tell you, well, this guy's doing this and he scored and all that. But then on a different fight, they'll always say, well, yeah, that guy's throwing more punches, but I'm giving the round to so and so because he's throwing the more effective punches.
Yeah.
Effective punches. Well, what happened to the effective punches here? Kondo was laying solid, effective punches that were hurting and damaging punches.
Yep.
I mean,
we're backing him up if nothing else.
Let me tell you something about Lipinets also. Buddy McGirt, buddy. Okay, we know each other going back to the way into the amateurs. You need to get this man to keep his feet still. He was throwing his left hooks and his right, and when his hook would make contact, it would knock him off balance. Instead of the opponent, when he made contact with his hook, it would knock him off balance. Okay. The man needs to learn how to set and stop worrying about trying to be a Russian Mayweather, okay? Because that's not going to happen, okay? So anyway, but my take is I honestly felt that Kondo got the bad end of the deal. He should have won that fight. So, what can I say? He comes in from Japan, and I'm sure he's going back saying the same thing that everyone else says. You can't win when you go into someone else's backyard. So
okay, real quick. We had another fight card that was on HBO. Didn't get the attention as everything on Showtime, and rightfully so. But we did have one fight of note. It was light heavyweight. The kid from
Bivol.
From Russia.
Yep.
He's from Russia?
Yep.
Bivol, and he fought the other boy, I can't remember. It was
from Australia. Penhurst, or it was, here, I got it right here.
Broadhurst.
Trent.
Was it Trent?
Trent Broadhurst. Trent Broadhurst. From Australia.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be a real good scrap, and once again, like in Bermain Stavern and Deontay Wilder, for about 30 seconds, well, maybe longer than that, give him a minute or so, it was a good scrap.
10 seconds, but we're going to extend it.
And then Broadhurst got slumped. He got slumped by the Russian kid. And I'm gonna give the Russian kid a lot of it because we had to record these fights in Washington. But the Russian kid, Bivol, he even afterwards in the post fight comments, he said, "I love the right hand. When I can land that right hand, I expect good things to happen. And I'm gonna concentrate more on this right hand." But the bottom line with this fight is that with Andre Ward being gone from the light heavyweight division, Sergey Kovalev is fighting here next week.
Yeah.
It's kind of wide open.
It really is, and I was looking for his first name. It's Dmitry. Dmitry. So, but I think you're right. I think that would make a pretty decent fight because, like you say, who else? You got Sergey Kovalev. I mean, but
Daniel Jacobs.
But
Daniel Jacobs.
I just want to make a
I don't
note
know if
that
he wants to move to light heavyweight.
that fight was it was interesting because it was held in a small venue
in Monaco.
Yeah, maybe 400 people. Okay, it was designed that way. It was kind of like a black tie,
like a fundraiser. Upper echelon.
Class where it was like low, not a whole lot of people in there, but I'm sure they paid a whole lot more. And hopefully they weren't real big boxing fans because you have to feel cheated when you go into you put the tuxedos. I mean, even the photographers were required to wear tuxedos. Okay, if you were going to be a photographer,
it was a first class event.
It was first class event. So when the fight ends in the first round, it's the main event. It's what everyone's been kind of pumping up and HBO and all this, and then it ends in one round. Steve, come on, man. You have to feel cheated, man. You have to feel cheated.
Well, those people probably didn't because, like you said, they probably weren't staunch boxing fans.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in Monaco, which is a tourist attraction. Yeah. I'm sure everybody there was like, hey, this is nice. For the guys with their wives, they're sitting there and they're boom, knockout. They say, hey, that was great. They go back out and they're going to go hit the bar some more. It wasn't a big deal for them. But you do have to watch out for Dmitry Bivol. You have to watch out for him. He's tough. For Trent
back to
Broadhurst.
Go back and get some work, and we'll see what happens. But anyhow, we're going to come back with that third segment, which is open discussion. And we got a few things we want to talk about, and then we'll end this week's segment. Okay?
Sounds good. All right.
What do? Keep them hands.
Keep my hands away.